garage video today, hanging out, sitting in the boat. It's cold and windy outside, so I can't use my, you hear my kid, he's all mad because I left him inside. It's cold and windy outside, so my normal little patio spot is not very comfy right now. But what I want to talk about today is Rob Noerr being a better debater than Andrew Wilson. Now, this is something Andrew Wilson has admitted to, and Rob Noerr humbly will say, I'm better when it comes to politics type stuff, but if it was a debate about religion, theology, Andrew would crush me. And that's just because Rob doesn't have the information, not because Andrew Wilson's debate strategy and the way he debates things is better. Now, the reason why I decided to talk about this now, I know it's been a few weeks, 2 weeks or so since the whole Raging Tomato debacle and stuff, and this might have been more relevant then, was last night Rob Noerr did a debate with this knucklehead Craig and some other guy I've never heard of, and Grid from Grid Motorsports. Now, that Craig guy, so really, last night really put in perspective why I think Rob Noerr is a better debater. And what I've noticed from Andrew Wilson is he gets flustered a lot easier. Now, I'm sure he'll say, and please, Andrew, if you see this video, understand, I like you a lot. You're one of the number one reasons why I even started exploring becoming a Christian. In fact, Eastern Orthodoxy to be specific. I respect everything that you do. This is just, I guess, some constructive criticism. Andrew, and I'm sure Andrew gets flustered easier, and I'm sure he would say that he doesn't, and I know he doesn't take things personally and doesn't take things to heart, but you can see him once somebody starts becoming combative or like ad hominem attacks, you could see him not want to let it go and immediately flip a switch. And that Craig guy, his very first debate, I want to say, was against Andrew Wilson a few months back on secular humanism versus Christian nationalism. I want to say that was like his very first debate. And Andrew ate that guy alive. You could tell he was very timid and wasn't really comfortable in the debate sphere. Well, last night, immediately, right off the bat, he started getting loud and combative and speaking over everyone, and it was annoying to watch. And Andrew Wilson had a debate a couple of weeks ago on the same topic, Christian nationalism versus secular humanism, which is better for society, with some blonde girl I've never seen before. And something very similar happened where Andrew immediately off the bat became really aggressive. And I don't know if it's a debate strategy to get the other person kind of on their back foot, like you'd see it in fighting, right? Where, they touch gloves and then one guy comes out and just starts going after the guy hard, fast, bam, 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 and puts the other guy on the back foot like, oh, geez, this guy's in for blood. And then eventually Andrew levels out and it's more of a conversation, and you say what you want to say and you can respond, and it becomes way more cordial. And it might just be debate strategy. I'm not a debater, so I don't know. This is just my opinion on what I see. And Rob doesn't do that. Rob, he's really good at ignoring ad homs. When people like attack him for something or try to rag on him for something, he just got his eye on the prize, looks right through you, and just stays on his point, which I think is very persuasive, like just ignoring and letting that kind of stuff brush off your shoulders. And he's really subtle in his ad hom or like, you know, attacks when he burns people, which I think is he's way easier to listen to. And another thing, I don't care for what Andrew does. And like I said, this is just my personal opinion of why I think Rob's a better debater and why I like listening and watching his debates more than Andrew Wilson's. Another thing Andrew does that gets on my nerves is he does the real childish mocking like that. And that kind of gets on my nerves. You know, we're in our 40s, dude. Like, you don't need to do that. Jay Dyer does that. So does Jim Bob. Maybe Andrew picked it up from them because I know they all kind of worked together before I think Andrew got in the space. I might be getting all this wrong, so don't hold me to it. But they all three do it, and that kind of stuff just gets on my nerves. And Rob doesn't do that. Rob doesn't really stoop to the childish type stuff. Rob is and it's probably because he went to school, he went to college to become a debater, that he's very, how can I say, like professional about it. Like, I want a strict, what word I'm looking for? A strict format for the debate. And I want to be able to, without interruption, say what I want to say. Without interruption, you can say what you want to say. And when that doesn't happen, Rob gets frustrated. And in fact, last night, Rob had gotten frustrated, much like he did with the Raging Tomato shit show panels. Was finally like, hey, after the debate was over and it came down to the Q&As from the audience, Rob was kind of like, look, I've been here for a few hours. I'm done. Like, I can't get my point across. I can't get a full sentence out without this Craig guy shouting over me. And that Craig guy got on my nerves last night. My hats off to you, Rob. You stuck it out longer than I had expected you to. In fact, Craig threatened to leave at one point because the moderator said that he was going to start muting his mic. And he's like, I'll just leave. And he's like, well, dude, you know, you need to let Rob get his point out. And it got frustrating. I could see it in Rob getting frustrated and annoyed. And Rob was eating this guy alive. Like, he was eating this guy alive. Like, the guy had all the stuff that he had brought. I'm not going to get into what happened in the debate. Go watch the debate. It was on Modern Day Debate. Rob did it on his show, so it was the 28th. Go to watch Rob's evening show on the 28th, and he live streamed the whole debate, and he gave more context after the debate was over of why he left. I suggest you go over there and watch it on his show, or go watch on Grid's show. Give them some love. The moderator wasn't doing the best job. He seemed kind of timid. However, that's not what this video is about. I want to talk about Rob and Andrew. So those are just like my critiques of Andrew. Andrew's has gotten better about like the mocking and stuff like that, but he quickly can't let somebody say something about him, like some sort of attack or slight, without his ego getting in the way and him having to respond with something harsher. And I'm all for matching energy. I match energy 100%. And Rob will too. Rob's way more and you know what? Somebody had mentioned this last night. I think Rob's ability to stay calm and more passive through the attacks and stay on point is his background in home nursing with special needs people. You know what I mean? He was working with like people with severe autism and like unable to regulate their emotions and stuff like that. And you can't just be getting angry and frustrated and flipping out. Like, you're supposed to be there to help them and understanding of their disabilities. So I think maybe a lot of it comes from that, which he probably is a great parent. I'll be honest with you. Rob is probably a really good parent because of how patient he's able to stay when getting frustrated or, yeah, when being frustrated with things, he's able to stay way patient. So that's just like my opinion on why I enjoy Rob Noerr's debates more than Andrew Wilson's debates. I think Andrew, he lets his ego get in the way a little too much. Oh, look who made it outside. Well, I guess this video is over. Now he's going to try to climb up on the boat. Well, so that's just my opinion on things. I suggest you go over to their channels and go back and watch Andrew Wilson's latest, I don't know if it was his latest debate. It was like a week ago with some blonde girl, I want to say it was secular humanism versus Christian nationalism. And within like the first 10 minutes of the video, Andrew gets frustrated, and like is mocking her and like just constantly attacking and just throwing. And then eventually in that debate, he calms down and they're like having like a legit back and forth. And usually Rob starts there, even when the other person's being combative and stuff. And then eventually, like I said, he'll match energy too. He'll get in the weeds with people and he'll get into the to the back and forth, get into the ugliness of it, I guess you could say. But that's just my opinion. I enjoy watching, and like I said, some people might like Andrew's style. Some people might like watching the me, like that kind of stuff. It's just not for me. It's not. It's just not my cup of tea, I guess you could say. So keep it up, both of you guys. I doubt either one of them will watch this video, but if you do, keep it up. I enjoy watching both of you guys. You guys are doing great work. You guys are changing minds, and that's exactly what this is about. We need the people that enjoy watching the Andrew Wilson style of debate. We need the people like me that enjoy watching the Rob Noerr style of debate. And yeah, it's working. We're winning. I'm gonna keep up doing my content, just kind of putting my 2 cents in here and there, and just telling my story of how I'm trying to become a better person and how I screwed my life up being a drug addict and a secular humanist most of my life, and my new found faith, I guess you could say. Till next video.